So there I am, trying to write an article about whether or not No Time to Die should be screened, streamed, or nationalised via a GoFundMe for 607 million currency units. They can't decide whether or not to fundraise in pounds or dollars when I came across something interesting. Well, to me anyway. You see, the character of James Bond is now in the public domain and has been since the 1st of January 2015.
I'm free,
in some countries.
free. Dang it.
Sort of. Okay, first off, I am not a lawyer, as far as you know, and since copyright law is a nightmare, please understand that this is not legal advice, and I would much rather you created an original character of your own doing, but let's assume that you want to write your very own James Bond story and are kicking yourself for not having gotten started years ago and been swimming in money and pretty young things by now. Except if you don't live in Canada, you might already be in trouble. Actually, even if you do live in Canada, you might be in trouble.
Damn it!
I'll start with the technical now.
This is the captain. Brace for impact.
The vast majority of nations are signatories to the Berne Convention, which sets the minimum copyright at 50 years after the death of the author. Article 7, paragraph 6, allows countries to establish longer terms, which is what the United States and European Union have done. In those countries, the base term is the life of the author plus 70 years. In the United States, it can be even longer than that, so while the Berne Convention is the international standard, Europe and the United States have effectively imposed a longer one. However, some countries, including Canada, have stuck to the Berne Convention's 50 years after death number. This means that authors who passed away in 1964 had their works enter into the public domain when 2014 ended. So, on January 1st, 2015, Rachel Carlson, Ian Fleming and Flannery O'Connor's works are all no longer under copyright in Canada. Which means that a Canadian can publish and sell Fleming's books, there can be Canadian Bond films, and people can write their very own James Bond books, which I really, truly do not recommend.
No, 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 I don't wanna, no, no, oh, no, 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 oh.
You see, were your Bond book to ever leave Canada and enter into a country where Bond is still copyrighted, such as the USA until 2030 at the earliest, the EU allegedly 2084, and the UK 2035, you might well be in legal trouble for breaching copyright. Also, only the Fleming version of Bond is out of copyright, meaning assuming you're a Canadian who still wants to write a new James Bond book for some reason, even though you can't sell them to a lot of the planet without being sued into oblivion, you can't use anything from the movies. Your Blofeld can't have a cat, for example. I would also imagine that your Bond can't have someone try to cut him in half with a laser, such as happened in Goldfinger, but they can have someone try and cut him in half with a saw, as happened in Goldfinger. Happily though, this means you can expand on the time he was brainwashed into thinking that he was a Japanese fisherman, you only live twice, or that time a Nazi now working for the Soviets convinced everyone to build nuclear silos in the White Cliffs of Dover, from which he actually planned to attack London instead of defend it. The original plot's a Moonraker. The books were weird. Just remember that the films are very, very under copyright, and in some countries will remain so until at least 70 years after the death of the last person to work on the production of the movie, such as director, producer, and so many more people, which means that none of them will probably enter the public domain in my lifetime, meaning that anything or anyone created for the film, such as Dr. No's Sylvia Trench, are strictly off limits for your novel. And not even all the books are public. Were our demented Canadian to continue, but mistakenly use something from, say, the Kingsley Amis or John Gardner era of Bond, then you'd be breaking copyright and could be sued into oblivion for breaking the law. So, is James Bond in the public domain like Sherlock Holmes? Sort of. In certain countries and certain conditions, you could write a James Bond novel of your very own, but its sales would be extremely geographically limited, and the slightest link to the films, video games, songs, or a book that's still under copyright, a film original character, plot point, or reference, could well see you in court and sued into oblivion. In short, I really, 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 truly don't recommend it for the next 30 years at least. But will you be penning your own trip in the tuxedo? Let me know below. And who is your favourite character in the public domain? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, it's been a dunking. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.